Perception is like painting. We have to recreate the outside scene inside our heads, and it is a subjective and edited view. Attention is a process by which we choose what to see. While attention is often linked to perception, this issue of what the brain chooses to focus on also applies to memory and to the selection of tasks or lines of thought to work on. Attention has been likened to picking up a sandwich from a plate of sandwiches. We are only allowed to pick up one sandwich at a time, even though we can choose from all of them. Sometimes, to see something, we have to know what we are looking for. There are many examples of images that can't be interpreted unless we have some context that helps us judge what is in the scene. Sometimes, this knowledge is provided by training and experience, as in the case of a radiologist who is interpreting an X-ray view of the lungs. The cocktail party effect illustrates how in the noisy, confusing environment of a cocktail party, people are able to focus attention on a single conversation. In this kind of situation, a person can covertly shift her attention to listen to a more interesting conversation than the one in which she pretends to be engaged. This process of actively choosing what to see or listen to involves attention. Researchers have studied this kind of selective attention using the dichotic listening task. Different auditory information or stories are presented to each ear of a participant. The participant is asked to immediately repeat or shadow the auditory stimulus from one ear while ignoring the input from the other. The dichotic listening task is important because it tells us what is being thrown away or discarded when we listen to one ear but not the other. If we pick up one sandwich from the plate of sandwiches, what can we say about the other sandwiches that we didn't pick up? Research indicates that people can generally tell if the voice in the unattended ear is male or female, and if it is speaking a different language. One interesting finding is that if the message switches suddenly from one ear to the other, then the person switches ears at the same time to follow the message, sometimes not even noticing that the ear being shadowed or listened to has switched. This indicates that it is not the ear that is being listened to, but the message or information that was assigned to the ear. Distracted driving is a good example of what happens when our attentional system gets overloaded or when other tasks or information divert us from the primary task. Distracted driving has become a contributing factor in many road accidents. Visual attention has been studied at least since the 19th century. One researcher used an electric spark to create a very brief illumination for viewing a set of letters on a screen. He observed that, while keeping his eyes fixated in the center of the screen during the very brief illumination, he could covertly attend to any one location on the screen and perceive the letters located within that region. But he had difficulty perceiving the letters at other locations. Using the tray of sandwiches analogy, all the sandwiches or locations were visible during the brief illumination, but only one of them could be picked up. The kind of attention where we choose what to see or hear is referred to as endogenous or voluntary attention. This kind of attention involves goal-directed control of a network of brain areas that are involved in tasks such as controlling eye movements, maintaining information and spatial working memory, and shifting attention between locations. Although attention was one of the first things studied in modern psychology, it has turned out to be a complex topic. Attention may be thought of as a kind of biased response competition. The brain always has many choices to make: what to see, what to remember, what to think about. Attention may be thought of as a way of implementing the choices made, so that brain activation and processing is biased towards the chosen perception, memory, or line of thinking.